Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Witch's Oracle. Okay, I am going to do something that I haven't done before, which is I did a review on this. I received the Oracle of Heaven and Hell and by Travis McHenry. I was so excited. I waited so long for it and I just was so excited. And I unboxed it and I did a review. And here's the thing, in my review, there's a couple of things that I didn't quite know or understand. And hey, listen, I am the first person to admit when I'm the asshole. If I make the mistake or if I'm wrong, like as soon as I realize it, like I'm the first one to own up to it. I cherish that about myself. I don't like when other people aren't able to do that. It's one of my pet peeves. So I always try not to be what I don't like in other people. So when I find out facts, information, anything that kind of goes against what I had said or anything previously, I'm the first one to admit it, to say it, to fix it. So this is what I'm doing. I am going to redo my review because I want to redo it now knowing the information that I have. Because I feel that my first review was perhaps a bit harsh and misinformed. Misinformed is what I'm going to say. So I ordered it for a very specific reason. I was so excited about it. I watched the video about how Travis did his research and all of the energy and work that he put into doing this book. This book is the main reason why I wanted the deck was for this book. I am also a screenplay writer. I do movies, and the information in this book is information I desperately need for a film that I'm working on. And as soon as I heard about this and watched his video, I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's perfect. So, the Oracle deck, I was also excited about because I also read tarot. So, it wasn't that I didn't care about this. I definitely did. But I was the most excited about the book. Now, sometimes I forget, I have my way of doing things and I have my likes and my dislikes, which is my channel, which is what this is about. So everyone can do their kind of own thing. I am all about an aesthetic and I'm all about a matching set. So I love all of this for those reasons. I'm not a pouch, keep your decks in a pouch person. It's my personal preference and it's only because of this reason. I have pets and hair sticks to these a lot. So, and I'm very neat and tidy and clean, but still hair is hair. It gets everywhere. You can't. I wear real fur. It's just from my pets. It's on me whether I like it or not. So I like to keep my decks in their boxes or in a made, faux book box and keep them on my bookshelf so I know what decks are what decks. I can look at the book and I can look at like on a bookshelf. If all the books were purple, with, paisley print, you wouldn't know what book is what book. So to me, I know everyone kind of memorizes and they have different prints and different patterns for their decks. But just for me, I'm a bookshelf, like I want to look like books on a shelf person. So I like a beautiful box that it comes in or to put it like that. That's just my personal preference. But I love that it comes with this because here's what I do. I can put my deck in the pouch and then put that in the faux book, put that in the shelf, and then I add crystals to it and maybe a reading cloth with it or whatever I want to have with it. So I still love this and I love that it matches and I love that the symbols on there, and like I mentioned in my first video, I think this is brilliant. And I love the colors, that royal blue with that gold. I called it the graduation, and that's a compliment. Graduation colors. So this is fantastic. Like I said in the video, these cost like $20 and up to have a bag like this. So they're, that's pricey. Okay. So, I also mentioned in here this beautiful letter that comes from Travis that I showed you guys that I thought was fantastic. And I also loved that I got the card. I actually like it because I like to put it actually right there. Has a home. Now, it comes with the sticker, which is really cool too, because if you're going to do a faux book, you can put this on the spine of the book, because then you'll know exactly what deck this is. So I do like that. The one thing that I criticize, that I don't like, that I stand behind 100%, is the fact that with this, that it's plastic, and in our community we're very, earth friendly, and hashtag no plastic and all of that. I'm trying to leave, very small carbon footprint, all of those things. And what's interesting and what I didn't know was that Travis wasn't a fan of this either, and I didn't know that. And there's sometimes that I know, because in a lot of the things I've done in my life, when you're trying to produce something and you want it to be one way, and sometimes you don't have as many options as you like to have. But what's cool about this, what I didn't know, is if you crack this open, take the plastic off, it actually is metal in there. It's metal in there. So see, I did not know that. So if you're like me and you're not a fan of the plastic, you can crack this open, which I'm not going to try to do right now, but and then you just have the metal inside, so you don't have to have that plastic around it. So it's like maybe an encasing or something. So it's one of those things I think was out of his hands, and if he could redo it, from what I understand, he would definitely do. So that's, kudos to the creator on that 100%. With the book, what I have found out is on the book that they are not signed, and that is something that, because they are numbered, because usually with Kickstarter decks, the decks are numbered as well as the books. And the reason why is when people who back Kickstarter want to have that original first edition signed and numbered. That's what gives it its importance, its value, and not just resell, but value to the owner to say, I have this. Which, by the way, you want to hear something really interesting? Of course you do. My numerology number is 8. And do you see this? 1 plus 0 is 1 plus 7 is 8. So I was like, well, okay, see, this is fate and destiny. I was meant to have this. I was supposed to have this. So out of 300, okay? So the one thing that he, apparently, Travis, he just didn't realize anyone would care enough to want his signature. He seems like such a humble individual that he didn't even realize how big his fan base is and how much people really. Okay, all right. Let me just say this. When I found out about the Invoking Angel deck, I was desperate to go and buy it. You can't buy it. So I reached out to the tarot community, and the buy, sell, and trade kind of thing. And you can't pry that deck from someone's cold hands. I mean, you just can't. No one's giving it up for nothing, for no amount of money. Not that I could afford to pay a lot of money for it, because I can't. But, no one's giving it up. So that's a good thing, because people love it that much. So I guess he didn't realize how much the people love him and love his product. So he never even thought to sign it. And if he had to do it all over again, he would have signed them. So, I am disappointed that I don't have the signature, because I am a fan for sure. And for the deck as well as the book. So I'm glad that he acknowledges that. Ooh, I just bumped my camera. That he acknowledges that, and it's something that he never even really thought about. So the next thing he does, you'll be probably seeing his not only numbered decks, but a signature as well. So kudos for him for seeing a flaw and being humble enough to not even think to sign it, and knowing that we want it, and to to say, I'll make sure to do that next time. Now, these hardcover books, they're much different, obviously, than, a regular book that would come with, and this is not mass produced. So that was my bad on that, because from knowing he's done 2 previous decks, I assumed that this was a mass produced deck. It isn't. And the cardstock is a flippable, shuffleable cardstock. And with a lot of my other decks, like I said in my video, it's the same cardstock as those. And yeah, the other decks are way cheaper because they're mass produced. They make thousands upon thousands upon thousands, where he only made 300. So for him to be able to make any kind of profit, which everyone should be able to make a profit on their product, this is the cardstock, and most people enjoy this cardstock because they really like to shuffle their cards. I'm not a shuffler, so, I like my cards a little stiffer. But even like the Dark Mansion Tarot has a bit of a stiffer cardstock. And this is like a $65 deck. I bought this directly from Poland from the creator. And however, it was one deck. And somebody else brought to my attention that this isn't one deck, this is 2. And you know what? I'm going to own that because I didn't really bring that into consideration. This is actually not one deck, it's 2 decks. It's Heaven and Hell. And I kind of did not give credit where credit is due on that. So I'll own that 1,000%. Because you have one deck here and another deck here. So you have twice as much work, twice as much information. So instead of him doing 2 separate decks, you have to buy 2 separate decks, which I would have done. If they were, $75 each, I would have bought, each one. So, in that situation, and he did, like I put in my first video, I was talking about this gorgeous, beautiful gold edging, which thank you so much. Edging a deck for the individual is just the most horrendous thing. I'll sit there and do it all day because I just enjoy an edge deck, but I can't gild it. I can't do the silver or the gold. I can only do colors because when I try to do silver and gold, it just doesn't really come out. So I appreciated how beautiful the edging is. It's glorious. It's not just gold, it's super shiny gold. And I love how it's like the blue and the gold. So I love that. I mentioned that in my first video. So that costs money. That's hard work. That costs money to do that. So I give credit to Travis and to this Oracle deck for the fact that it is 2 decks. It is edged in gorgeous gold. Okay. And not only that, but the box that this comes in, this hard box here that it comes in, like I said in my first video, I love this. I love this, love this, love this. Because, it's way better than a normal, it's way better than a tuck box for sure. It's better than even the magnetic boxes. This is like top notch. And like I said in my first video, I love the lock. It gives it a sense of importance. I love this. And I love how it's lined and it's all matching. I love that you can dock your deck in here. And the one thing that I stand by on my first video is I talk about lowering our carbon footprint. So this does come wrapped in plastic. So a lot of the tarot community don't necessarily use the tuck box. They either use a bag like that this one would came in, or like this one has a box. So I keep hitting my camera, would go in there. So a lot of people would throw this out, and it comes in plastic, so that would go in the trash. So the only thing I mentioned is if this came wrapped with just that little paper band, or even a rubber, like a ribbon, you can like wrap a little, what do you call it? Elastized ribbon on there so that you can put a band around there and then keep it like that. Something that you would keep forever. You wouldn't throw it away. That I stand by. It's probably not cost effective. then, you know, it would cost more. Honestly, I think everyone on the earth would pay a little bit more to help save our planet. So for any creator out there, don't be afraid to charge a little more. Make sure everyone knows in your Kickstarter, hey, this is going to cost a little more because we're trying to save our planet, you know? But, so I love that this has a home. Look at how gorgeous that is. So if you just did the paper band, you know, instead of this and the plastic, I think you would actually save a little money. And now look at the home that this has. Look at how stunning this is. And it has this spectacular home to live in. So I'm keeping my sticker in there so it doesn't get lost. I'm keeping my coin in here until I can decapsulize that, figure that out. I'm keeping that in there. And then, like I said, the extra card that we were sent that I love, I'm using this here. So this is brilliant. Now, the next thing is this book. This is everything. This is what it was all about for me because of the research that he did. I mentioned in my first video how the research that he did is based on fact. It's based on historical information from private libraries that most people don't have access to. There was a lot of work and research put into this book, and that I admire and give full kudos and credit to. I mentioned in my first review about the book looking a little bit like it was kind of what did I say? Like it was done like with a hand stamp. The way it was done, I said in the first video that it kind of looks like it was possibly done intentionally to give it that kind of old world look. And I know in a lot of the old books that they were going through, you know, that's kind of how it looks. So in a way, it's kind of cool. So that's definitely what is done here. It was definitely intentional. It wasn't done to because it's poor quality in any way, shape, or form. It was done intentionally. So tomorrow, it's now almost midnight, so I'm just going to call it midnight. It's like 5 minutes till. So that I'm doing like a What You Get Wednesday review of my own review kind of situation. So being Wednesday, I have Wednesday off of writing, so I'm going to spend all of Wednesday reading this book cover to cover, over and over, back and forth, going back, rereading it, which is something I do. Using it for research for a project I'm working on. And I'm very, 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 very excited to go through this book and read it cover to cover. I tell you this, when a creator, and if you watch any of my tarot card reviews, I say it again and again and again. If you're not reading the book that the creator took time and energy and effort to write, cover to cover, you're doing yourself a disservice, your deck a disservice, and the creator and their co-creators a disservice. The books change the game in almost all cases. I just recently read Tarot of Wonderland and blew me away. I completely am convinced that that book should be used in child psychology to help traumatized children. Like, it is brilliant. And when I read Eric Dunn's Illuminati, when I read that book, it shook me. Like, I can't even tell you. When I read the story about Colleen Barrett Reed's spirit cards, it's game changer. So I'm really, really big about respecting the creation, the work, the research. So full kudos to Travis McHenry on this. And yeah, so I am disappointed it's not signed because I'm a fan. I'm just a big fan. So it's not a criticism. It's actually, in a weird way, a compliment, because it's like, oh man, you know, I literally have worked around very large, big name celebrities in my job. And the last thing I've ever done is asked anyone for an autograph or a photo or a selfie. No, thank you. But if when it comes to having a book, if I can ever get the writer to sign my book, that's my thing. Because in a weird way, I feel like I'm respecting the writer by having him sign his work. And it's a reminder that I was blessed enough to be able to shake the hand and meet the person that created something I'm holding in my hand that I'm reading that changes me in some way, shape, or form. Because whenever you read a book, it's going to change you one way or another. It's adding information into your brain, which changes you regardless. So, yeah, I'm a big book fan. I'm a big nerd. What can I tell you? So so here's your hardcover book. I think you have option hard or soft. I did the hardcover book because I planned on keeping it forever and ever, and I just felt like it's something that, if I had an opportunity to get a hardcover, I'm getting a hardcover. The box is glorious. I gave that, love the letter, love the bag. And with this being said, and with the 100 around, it was 125 to 130, somewhere right in there on the Kickstarter. And like I said, it's definitely, it's worth it. I would buy it again. It's not about the money. It's just about certain things that, I wasn't sure about or lacking. So this is my review on the Oracle of Heaven and Hell. There you go. By Travis McHenry. And I'm a super fan. And my original review, I gave him a 6 out of 10. I'm going to change that. And the only reason he's not getting a 10, I'm going to give you the 3 reasons. Okay? I'm taking off a point because of the coin. Because, it is what it is. Mistakes were made, but it still came with the plastic piece. So I'm taking a point off for the coin. And I'm taking a point off because the deck and the book don't have the signatures. The deck's not numbered. The book is, but not the deck. So a lot of people can buy the book separately. And so that's numbered. So, a lot of times if this is ever mass produced or whatever, I don't have anything on the deck that's showing that it's also numbered. You usually get a card or something and it's numbered and it's signed. So just because of the coin and because of the signature, I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10 because of that. If the coin was metal and this was numbered and signed and this book was signed, that's a 10 out of 10, hands down, without a doubt, no questions asked. Like I said, I prefer a little bit of a thicker cardstock because I'm not a big shuffler, because the cards wear down and they kind of get bent and out of shape, which is what they're supposed to be because you're supposed to use them. They're a tool. I like to keep things nice, so I do my shuffling a little different way, and I like to keep their that's my own thing. So I'm not going to mark him off on his cardstock because that's just my own weird thing that I have, that probably I'm the only one who has that. So 8.5 on that. So taking half a point off for the signature, which brings them to a 9.5, then taking 1 point off for the coin, which brings them to an 8.5. So maybe that's not even fair. Maybe just take half a point off for the plastic coin, and let's just say, a 9. 8.5 to a 9. I don't know. I love it. So it's not that there's anything wrong with the deck. It's I want more. It's because that's just who I am. I would love his signature because I'm super proud and excited and respectful of his work. And that's a compliment. And I'm just trying to save the planet. And that's why, I just want us all to try hard to, but, we're all still using plastic. I mean, let's be honest, like my coconut oil that I have here comes in a plastic tub. We're all guilty of it. You know, we're all guilty of it. But if I could, you know, create something, I, you know, would try my best to, you know, not have plastic. But then again, I haven't created a deck yet. Sleeping Tarot, one day it's going to happen. And I might have a situation where it has to come wrapped in plastic, and that's just the way it's got to be, and I don't have a choice in the matter, and then everyone's going to criticize me about it, and I'm going to feel terrible. So who am I to point fingers? When you point a finger at somebody for what they're doing, you have 1, 2, 3 pointing right back at you, right? So let's just say this. I'm going to give this, to be honest with you, it's a 10 out of 10, but I just missed that signature on there. So let's all try harder about reducing our carbon footprint in the world the best that we can. And let's all love and respect each other and be there and support each other. And, you know, to Mr. Travis McHenry, I would just say that wanting your signature is the greatest compliment, because for me to want someone's signature, that's a big deal, because I'm not into celebrity, and I'm not into getting things just to get them, and I'm not into pictures or, oh, look who I was with. You know, I've got a lot of famous people on my Facebook page, and I'll say this, I work in the business, and when I want a signature in a book, it's kind of a big deal. So that, I'm only saying that not to brag. I'm only saying that to say it's just the greatest compliment. It truly is. So I would say if you have an opportunity to own and buy this deck, I would do it immediately. And if anybody has the Angel Evoking Tarot deck, I'm still desperately trying to buy it. So I'm a fan. I'm still trying to buy his tarot deck. So that just goes to show you, I'm like, can I buy it? Can I trade you something for it? You know, I'm out there looking every day to try to find it, because I like to have the tarot and oracle deck go together. That's why I bought this, because I'm hoping one day, if I wish hard enough and I pray hard enough, one day that Angel Evoking deck is going to find its way into my big giant fat hands. So thank you for watching my video, and go get this deck.